Yes, Kataria. How
About
rhythmic
my name.
you are? Yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, just to give you a background, my name Rhythm was kept by my mother, and she's really interested in music in general. So I think that interest of her, like translated into keeping her son's name as Rhythm. So that is
Okay.
one. That was one of the part.
Okay.
With
It's
respect
going
to
to be an interesting question if it is asked, and you can carry the board with you
yes, sir.
the way you answer. My feeling is it will. Like they ask my name because my name is unique. Even in South India, you don't find this name. When they asked my name, I gave the meaning and why it is unique. They told me I am going to be the first IAS who will get into the service with this name. Are you sure? They asked me. I said, yes, I am going to figure in the civil list. Like that, you will have to
Yes, sir.
answer. You see, that will show you are from alertness,
Alert. Yes,
self-confidence,
yes, sir.
and knowing your own history. Very important. Everybody carries a tale of good things. Try and tell them good thing with your name and why your parents decided to name you with that name. Very, very important, these things. Okay, so the name carries lot of value and lot of marks as far
Yes.
as the personality test is concerned. Now, you did law and then you are getting into the areas of governance. In what way uh, Kataria will be different from other persons who have not studied law? Tell me.
Sir, law equips me essentially with a grip on the rule of law, which civil servants have to, partake while discharging their duties, whether be it an IPS officer or an IS officer. Law is the backbone of civil services. If there's no law, there will be haywire things going around, and there will be no administration of a district as a whole. So I think law equips me with that, and I will be better civil servant than others because I know law in that respect.
When you mention about rule of law, equally with so much importance, they also mention about administrative law.
Yes, sir.
Rule of law and administrative law. Is there a synergy or is there a dichotomy?
The perspective defines whether it's a dichotomy or a synergy. I feel when civil servants are upholding the administrative law as well as the rule of law, they're acting in conjunction with the duty rules and duties mandate. But when there's a dichotomy, when there's external pressure bound, or when the interest of self goes above the rule of law, that's when the dichotomy begins.
What is the essential difference between an act and rules?
The rules are essentially delegated legislation where it is framed by a body which has been empowered under the Act to frame laws. Act is the parent legislation, while rules are the delegated legislation.
And the new set of criminal procedure code, the penal code, all these things. What prompted the government to come out with this new codification?
Sir, time demands change, and historical legacy, the colonial legacy that we were carrying with us with respect to the IPC, the Indian Evidence Act, and the CRPC, sir, they had to be shedded away, and the government fit thought it fit to be the right moment in the cultural history and legal history of India to change the laws at the right juncture, sir.
And how is the new codification welcomed by the legal community?
Sir, there have been some sort of skepticism in the legal community before the laws were brought in place, but the government did a right job by introducing it in a phased manner. The acts were passed in December, However, the implementation began in July 1st, 2024, sir. So the 6 months buffer, which was given to the academies, to lawyers, to advocates, to train their staff and be well versed with the laws so that they are able to discharge the duties as officers of the court and officers of upholding justice.
See, Kataria, in legal cases, we come across a paradox. Let us say somebody is sentenced to death by the session court and confirmed by the High Court. That is the normal procedure. But then when they go on appeal, the whole thing gets shelved. The fellow gets acquitted. Conviction proved, confirmed, but when he goes on appeal, he is acquitted. Is it because of the procedure, or is it because of the nature of offense?
Sir, as far as my understanding of law goes, the procedure is something that is followed at the trial courts, while the High Court and the Supreme Court are cases of substantive jurisdiction where questions of law are decided. So, with respect to procedure, trial courts is the only court, the highest court, where the procedure is discussed. Here, if the officers, including the defense counsel as well as the prosecution counsel, if they take into account the correct procedure and also the court follows time bound justice delivery mechanism, there can be speedy justice that can be delivered. With respect to the acquittal rates, as you rightly mentioned, sir, there have been many cases where High Courts and Supreme Court have reversed the decision. And that only shows that the justice is delivered here and no non culprit person is punished in that case, sir. So it is a fair bit of law that we are doing, fair bit of justice delivery that has been done by the higher courts, where they are able to assess the conditions and reverse the judgments in that case.
And you have already been selected for the Central Armed Police Forces, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And you haven't joined.
I haven't joined since the joining dates have not been come out yet. In Indo-Tibetan Border Police, I was allocated Indo-Tibetan Border Police, and the academy dates have not come out yet, sir.
What is ITBF? In what way it is different from other Central Armed Police Forces?
Sir, Indo-Tibetan Border Police is a proud border police boasting of rich legacy since 1962 India-China War. This is when the ITBP came into existence as a whole, sir, because there was a specialized need felt after 1962 war to have a border guarding force towards China and our relations in that respect. So ITBP essentially carries out the border security on the Chinese front. There are three sectors which it guards: the western sector, middle sector, and the eastern sector, sir.
You specialized in constitutional law. And can you name some of the landmark judgments as far as constitutional law is concerned?
Sir, in my opinion, the most landmark judgment that came in 1973, it was Keshwananda Bharati judgment, which laid down the basic structure doctrine and which lives on today in the constitutional history and acclaims of India, sir. With, another judgment that comes to my mind is of Indra Swani case, 1992, which is much celebrated, also known as the Mandal Commission case, sir, which paved the way for OBC reservation in India, sir. So these are the two important constitutional law cases that come to my memory right now.
You studied in Singapore and you also worked in Singapore in the university, is it?
No, sir. I participated in a competition in Singapore there.
Oh, okay. Oh, you went for a competition in Singapore. And
Yes.
You went to Germany also on a program?
Yes, sir.
How long you were in Germany?
Sir, for 1.5 months.
Which place?
Sir, I was mainly located in Munich. However, I traveled extensively to Augsburg and other cities, other small towns of Germany too, sir.
Okay. Can you compare Singapore and Germany?
Sir, in Singapore, the country is small. There's just one city. that you see in Singapore. However, the respect for rule of law is unparalleled. I haven't seen any other country or any other city in the world having such respect for law. It also boasts of a cosmopolitan culture. Because, sir, as we see, Singapore is a hub of commercial transactions today. It has geographical advantage in the form of Malacca Strait, where major shipments and cargo of the world passes by. That way, cosmopolitan culture has been embedded in Singapore as a whole. With respect to Germany, sir, I see that German history is pretty long. It has served in World War II, World War One, all of the other European ages also, sir. Uh, One factor that I specifically saw in Germany, and with respect to my participation there also, we visited a concentration camp of World War II era, the Dachau concentration camp, where many Jews were there with me. And the cultural legacy that the Jews experienced while seeing the horrors of concentration camp uh, still remain with me, where I see the humanitarian side of how things can be brutal and wars can be brutal to certain communities and can uh, leave lifelong scars in their memories.
How do they greet you when you walk in the streets of Germany? How do they say good morning?
So they say Guten Morgen.
Very good, very good. And which German food you liked the most?
So without a doubt, since I'm a vegetarian, I like the pretzel, which is
Okay.
the bread, the salted bread.
And in Singapore?
So in Singapore, I did not have much opportunity to experience food, their local food, because much of it is non-vegetarian. However, I tried certain noodles, including the pad Thai noodles, which is not indigenous to Singapore, but made in a lot of Asian countries.
And what makes Singapore unique as far as law-abiding nature is concerned? You see, most of them, not most of them, quite a sizable percentage are of Indian origin or Indian connection,
Yes, sir.
but absolutely law-abiding. The moment they land here, they become Indians. What is that magic wand which has made the Singaporeans to be so law compliant? Can you tell me?
Sir, in my opinion, two reasons come to my mind. One is the quantum of punishment that Singaporeans have, put on any violation of law that they see in their laws. Second is also with respect to the attachment that you feel with the community and country as a whole. In Singapore, I see the Singapore citizens, even if they are of Indian origin, they feel strongly attached to the community and culture of Singapore, and also the certainty of law which will take place, the justice that will take place there. The sense of attachment with that also, I feel, is the second reason where Singapore has been able to make its citizen abide towards the law.
Your interest is Himalayan trekking. Name some places where you carried out this trekking in the Himalayas.
Sir, I've completed two treks. One is Harki Dun in Uttarakhand, and second is Sar Pass in Himachal Pradesh. Both of them were at a height of above 12,000 feet, and they gave me two different perspectives. Where Harki Dun is a mythological reference to how Pandavas went to Swarg, and they took the same path towards going towards Swargarohini Parvat, while Sarpas is the base camp starts from Kasol in Himachal, and it takes you on a meadowy journey where nature and strong little streams and rivers that you pass by. So it gives you a sense of calm and meditation there.
So you went to Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Can
Yes.
you give me the futures of the rural economy in both the places?
Sir, as has been rightly pointed out, and my memory serves me today, that I was recently on Harki Dun trek and I visited the oldest village of Uttarakhand called as Osla village. Osla has been in news for various reasons. One, for their architecture, sir. The architecture of Osla uh, boasts of amazing wooden houses which are set to perfection due to the Himalayan tectonic zones. So they are earthquake proof. I'm sorry. The architecture, and this is not a modern architecture, sir. It is 200 years old architecture. So we can see the cultural legacy of architecture in Uttarakhand by that sheer amount of years that it has taken, and still standing strong and correct there. With respect to the rural economy, sir, since you asked, rural economy, the kind of difference that I see, both of them are similar in the nature that both of them have shepherds and a pasture-based pastoral economy, rural economy in Himachal and Uttarakhand. However, with respect to the marketing that I see in Himachal, with respect to the apples or other products that they produce in their rural areas, specifically fruits and cheese also, because it's a milk-based economy there. They are marketed better than Uttarakhand, and which can be and implemented in Uttarakhand also. The marketing of products and connectivity is a problem in the hills, as we already know. So that can be one of the reasons or one of the factors that we can do better there.
See, when we look at India's borders, both land and maritime, can you name a nation which can be called as a friendly nation to India?
So I can name Sri Lanka right now because there is a new president that has come into existence, that is AKD, famously referred as Anura Kumar Dissanayake, and he has recently been sworn in, and he had come on his first international visit to India recently, and had a meeting with our honorable Prime Minister also, and promised, in one word, if I'd say that Sri Lankan soil will not be used for any anti-India activities. So this is a big promise that a nation can make, and assuring India, because India has been like a friendly nation to Sri Lanka, helping it in the line of credit, in sending peacekeeping forces and other activities in general, sir. A lot of tourists go from India to Sri Lanka and serves as a very pivotal point in Mission Sagar of India also.
So your quick assessment tells me that all other countries in our borders are not so friendly.
Sir,
Why? That's my question.
Sir, since you asked one country, I wanted to mention another country, like for example, Nepal also. However, there have been certain hostile statements and circumstances being created in Maldives and Bangladesh in particular, sir, in recent times. Both of these countries, for example, Bangladesh, I'll take first. Bangladesh had a recent coup where the Honorable Prime Minister of Bangladesh had to flee the country, and there was a change in the government and change in stance, which is at least perceived in the media houses to be anti-India. And there have been certain statements also coming on minorities in Bangladesh to be anti-India. So this is why I said that Bangladesh is perceived to be at least anti or like not so friendly with India right now. With respect to Maldives also, there were certain skirmishes and problems happening due to the new president there, and who had asked India to vacate the premises occupied by the armed forces there, the Navy in particular, sir.
Do you think the relationship with Nepal and Bangladesh are bound to improve, and this recent hiccups which we have is only temporary?
Sir, with respect to Nepal, the the government in Nepal right now has signed certain initiatives with China, which can be a matter of concern for India, including the Global Security Initiative and Global Development Initiative, which are touted as Chinese aims to promote democracy and security in the Asian neighborhood. These can be problems with India. However, the shared cultural connect that we share with Nepal, which is Nepal is considered one of our own, in the sense that Nepal has been a center or focal point. India has given so much aid, and there is so much transaction trade happening between India and Nepal. So I don't think that will be a factor of concern, and India will be able to restore its ties with Nepal in a better manner. It is more of a political stance rather than a cultural stance and the country stance as a whole, I feel, with respect to Nepal. With respect to Bhutan, Bangladesh, uh, uh, the change in the government has resulted in certain problems on both the sides, where Bangladesh population and government feels that the Indian government is supporting the exiled ruler, that is Sheikh Hasina, right now, while Indian government has flagged the challenge of persecution of Hindu minorities in Bangladesh. So if there's because Bangladesh came in existence in 1971 and aided by Indian support there. So there can be temporary blips, but I think both nations will be able to come on a common ground and resolve issues mutually.
Now, Trump has just announced, he's not yet president, but he's president-elect. Yeah, I think yesterday or day before yesterday, he has announced that anybody who doesn't buy from America or American goods, when their goods come into USA, I will impose a duty. What is this statement? Is it statesmanlike, or is it anti-trade? What is this?
Sir, as has been rightly pointed out, that Honorable Mr. President, President-elect Donald Trump had given the statement where he's advocating for equivalent tariff rates between both the countries, that is India and USA. And he has openly announced that since India puts so much tariff on our goods, while we don't put anything on Indian goods, I will raise the tariff rates. So I think this statement has been loosely said in the media houses, and this is not a statesman-like conduct on the part of a leader, of a world leader, to the stature of Donald Trump, who's the president-elect of the largest democracy in the world. So it is not something which is statesman-like. However, with respect to the trade relations between India and US, if the tariff rates are increased, the trade relations are bound to suffer. And with respect to that, we need to diversify our trade relations, not just with US, but with other North American and South American countries. If we are able to do that, we can counter the tariff. Even if the tariff rates are getting increased, we'll be able to maintain a swift export trade in the future, sir.
But doesn't it go against the protocol and principles laid down in the GATT, General Agreement on Tariff and Trade?
Sir, the GATT, that is General Agreement on Trade and Tariff, is part of the WTO arrangement that we've signed. And WTO also has a most favored nation status that has been given to every country who's part of WTO. Since India and US both are part of WTO, both will be given the most favored nations, and any policy or subsidy that US extends towards another WTO nation country will also be extended to India. That is the most favored nation status, the implication of most favored nation status. Here, if the US is increasing or giving subsidy to one particular nation, it will already be given to us. And if there's a problem in that, there is a WTO tribunal to take care of the issues for that respect, sir.
The Middle East war, do you think it is going to be a 1,000-year war?
Sir, in my opinion, the Middle East war is essentially about control of Middle East and who rules the Middle East, because it serves as a connectivity link, as an energy link, and more importantly, as a security and strategic link, sir. Uh, Three reasons why all the countries or in the involved actors are fighting for the Middle East right now. The Syria and the Palestine crisis, both are going simultaneously now. So I don't think it will be 100 years or 1,000 years war. It will be swift, and there will be a new ruler that will come out on top in later times. It won't be a 1,000 years, and it won't be a prolonged war as professed.
So you foresee an end to these wars soon, is it?
So I foresee an end to the war, but there will be discontent amongst the communities who will be defeated at last. Whether be it the Palestinian communities or whether be it the Bashar al-Assad government who has been ousted right now in Syria. So there will be discontent. However, with respect to how we can bridge the deficit, that the trust deficit remains the key. If the countries, the new rulers of those nations can bridge the trust deficit amongst the communities, if they're able to do that in a very proactive manner, the community's dissatisfaction will not be there anymore, and they will be able to accept the new rulers in a better manner.
See, in the same perspective of energy and connectivity, which you had pointed out, what do you think of the India-Pakistan tensions? Where are we and where we are going to be?
Sir, as has been rightly pointed out, India's trade with Pakistan is near about null right now. And India-Pakistan trade, since it is not going on, since it is rightly said by many foreign experts, also foreign policy experts, that trade and peace go hand in hand. If there is more trade, peace will automatically come by. So the first step is to increase trade. However, we need to take care of our strategic issues also, including the Kashmir issue that has been more often than not flagged by Pakistan at international forums like UN. Kashmir is our integral part, and this there cannot be any sacrifice on that front. With respect to trade, I think there are more opportunities lying between India and Pakistan because both of them can group together or trade together for the world to understand our importance in general, and also for us to facilitate our relations in a better manner.
Okay. What do you think of the caste census, caste survey?
Sir, we need to look at the objective behind the caste census or the caste survey. If it is with respect to the subcategorization, and it has been pointed out by the Supreme Court also, where the recent case of Davinder Singh versus State of Punjab, where the subcategorization SC and ST were mooted by Justice B.R. Gavai. Uh, and in his opinion, he had said that it is permissible for the states to undertake caste census to subcategorize. So the objective, if it is subcategorization, it can be. However, the caste census should only be constrained to the communities which are being perceived to be subcategorized. Secondly, the data of caste census should not be revealed to the whole public in general, and it could be kept sensitive towards the government policy making circles only, where there can where it can be misused and led for political gimmicks by different parties.
Right, Rhythm, I think the interview part is over. We'll get on to the feedback on your performance today. Before that, I want to ask this question. When you appeared for the Central Armed Police Forces interview with UPSC, which was the most difficult question they asked?
So it was with respect to secularism. I still remember they had asked that we are giving so much subsidies for Hajj yatras and Amarnath yatras. Is it right on the Indian government's part to provide subsidies for minorities, or like Hajj or like pilgrimage subsidies basically? Should we be giving, because these are something that individual personally undertakes? So should government be involved in the personal sphere of individual, and is government perceived to be secular when it's doing that, giving subsidies for pilgrimages?
What was your answer?
Sir, I took the support of Article 25, which says that every citizen in India has the right to practice, profess, and propagate religion, and the governments also are bound to protect and promote all religions equally. So this is something that I took.
The key word is promote.
Promote. Yes.
That's the key word. Okay,
Yes.
good. You answered it well. Okay, and which was the easiest question they asked?
So I think the first question that you asked was asked by my board also. The same question: why is your name Rhythm? And
Okay.
what? So it generated interest in their mind.
Now you know, in the UPSC personality tests, what could be the trigger points?
Yes. True.
In that 40 minutes of dialogue. You see, it is not a job interview,
Yes,
which
sir.
people are quite used to. You go and get a job. For that, there is an interview. But here it is not a job interview
Yes,
at
sir.
all. It is a personality test in 40 minutes. Of course, there are a lot of arguments whether a personality can, for a higher civil service, can be judged in 40 minutes. My answer is yes, it can be. We'll go into that now, how they judge, which will help you to prepare more. As such, your preparation is good, let me tell you. Your preparation is good. And when is the interview?
Sir, 5th February.
5th February. Okay, you have time. Now, what is required to be done is some refinement. You have the basic understanding, knowledge about the subjects which are likely to come up. You see, I gave you a wide range,
Yes, sir.
starting
Yes, sir.
from trekking to Trump to Middle East, because they will
Yes.
suddenly go from Kanyakumari to Uzbekistan.
I really like your Trump question, sir. Just to like give the comment.
I'll come to that.
Actually,
We will.
yeah.
You see, this is how they want to know your mental alertness.
Yes, sir.
That is one of the key points as far as the personality test is concerned. Whether Kataria is Jaipur centric or world centric.
Well said.
Very important. You may
Yes,
be
sir.
a civil servant serving in India, but then you must know what is happening in and around you 360 degrees.
Yes, sir.
Why this comparison of Germany and Singapore?
Singapore.
Why I was asking about the rural economy? Because it is not that you are just going for trekking per se. You are observing the fauna, you are observing the flora, you are observing. You gave a very interesting point about seismic proof architecture. Very, very important.
Yes, sir.
See, that shows your mental alertness. You have observed it and you are relating it, because those areas are susceptible to seismic tremors.
Famous. Yes.
And how they have done that construction. Then I wanted to ask you, but then time, that's why I avoided that question. When it is wooden, what is the foundation like for those houses? It's interesting.
Yes, sir. It
Structural.
is very interesting. True.
See,
Yes, sir.
structural. Wood cannot bear so much of gravity fallout.
Yes, sir.
Unlike concrete, which we use in the plains. So how do they, without foundation, does it bear the trauma of seismic activity? Could be a question. I think most of these constructions are done on rocks.
Rocks. Yes, yes, you're right, sir.
See, they don't get disturbed. Rocks. Because it is a continuous flow. So they are able to take the shock.
Yes.
And the shock taken by the houses are less.
Less.
Unlike where it is on just clay soil or loose soil, the shock is more. I mean,
Yes,
there are a lot of engineering involved, which our people followed. Of course, they didn't codify it at that point of time. Now
traditional knowledge.
Now everything is manual. It was passed on. It was passed on. So this is what, if they ask a question, it is not that it is in your DAF that you did trekking and I must ask. No.
Yes, sir.
You see, I tell you some of the points which the UPSC observes is your self-awareness. Are you, as I said, Kataria of Jaipur-centric, or you are India-centric, or world? If you are a keen aspirant for foreign service, they try to check. Do you know any foreign language? Have you traveled? What is the culture in that place? What is the political economy in that region? Things like that.
Yes.
Then they also find out about your physical attributes. How do you? When I say physical, you are a physical personality. And physical personality wise, yes, you are good. You pass the test. I'll put it like that. We'll not go into details of that. And your mental alertness, which I told you. Yes, you observe. It is not trekking per se you did. Very interesting it is. Like somebody will say that I am interested in music, film music. But then again, they will ask in what way film music is different from classical music.
Yes, very well.
It can't be just, no, I just sing a song, I like the rhythm, fine, you like the rhythm, but then it has got a science to it.
Yes,
How
sir.
the meters are based, how are the sarigama padani octave is constructed, and what is
Yes,
the
sir.
low pitch and what is the high pitch. They go into detail. So DAF, one can't just write for the sake of filling up the blank. You should
Yes,
be
sir.
thorough. You should be thorough. I mean, that is what they try and see whether you have the real knowledge, which they can. 40 minutes is enough to
Enough.
judge their candidate. And the other thing is intrapersonal skills and interpersonal skills. You see, a civil servant has to have maximum intrapersonal and interpersonal skill. When we say intrapersonal, within your domain,
Yes.
a collector or a superintendent of police or an income tax officer at an young age, 25, 26, or maximum 30, within that age, they are an acknowledged leader of about 300 to 3,000 people. So how
True.
do they maintain that cohesion? How do they
Yes, sir.
display the leadership? How do they take them as a team if there is a calamity? It could be an earthquake, it could be a flood, it could be even a pandemic like COVID we had. How do they carry the team? They try and find out your personal, interpersonal, intrapersonal skills in tackling problems and your intellectual quality, which you had displayed. Because when we talk about rule of law, yes, we have to maintain. Singapore, you talked about the rule of law. You see, most important thing about Singapore is even Germany, but I won't compare it with Singapore, is it is not just the rule of law. We also have the rule of law. Enforcement,
Enforcement. Yes, sir.
absolute.
Top
It is,
class.
we are not absolute. That is
Yes,
another
sir.
drawback
Yes.
we have. The enforcement is, yes, people have fear for law, but then the fear will not be there if there is no enforcement.
No enforcement.
It is only in statute.
Yes, sir.
In statute, we have hundreds of laws. But how many people know about it, follow it, unless it is enforced?
In
In
practice.
Singapore, you spit out a bubble gum, you are given 16 lashes, beating.
Yes.
You can't escape it.
Yes.
You carry you are just a messenger, not even a consumer of drug. It is death sentence.
Death sentence. Sir.
It is enforced.
Yes. That is more important.
If there is a question about why in India we don't follow law, why we have so many offenses, so many even traffic, you take people don't follow the most fundamental, simple traffic rules, they don't follow. Why? Enforcement. We must try and. Another ticklish question could be, which has been asked in the previous boards and all, is corruption.
Yes.
What do you think of corruption in the civil society? When we say civil society, the civil servants are not excluded. They are also part of the civil society. Why? And what is your stand? They could ask. You should always give a diplomatic answer. I don't want you to say that there is no corruption. I have not seen any corruption. They may ask, have you ever visited a government office? What was the reception like when you entered a government office? And when you wanted a particular civil service activity, what was the response like? They could ask. And good, bad, ugly, all the three you should point out.
Yes, sir.
Very often we try to be very nice and say, no, it was everything, time taken was more, but it was done. So no, that's not correct. It is never done.
Yes, that's not correct.
In
Yeah.
many offices, you will have to fight it out, even be it a driving license, be it a ration card, be it those days, be it payment of electricity bill. Today, of course, everything is online.
Yes, sir.
So there again, your answer is, sir, things are to be improved. They are improving. Digitalization has removed all these cutting edges. They are called the cutting edges. These people who sit at the counter and demand money or sit over it, they may not demand money, but they are inefficient. They sit over it.
Yes.
All these things are eliminated totally.
E-governance. Yes, sir.
Because of e-governance. So there you bring it, you
suggest e-governance.
you give the narrative of the negative things, and you give a picturization of the positive things. Very important. And talk confidently. And yes, relationship with, you see, it is unfortunate. Most countries in our borders, we don't have good relationship.
Yes.
Number one reason is they are small. They think that India is a big brother and they may swallow me. That fear is always there, which is unfounded. I mean, we have never invaded any country.
Yes, sir.
Even one country which we invaded, we gave it back to Bangladesh. We invaded East Pakistan, but we didn't keep it.
Yes,
India never kept anybody's territory, anybody's this thing. But unfortunately, they feel that India is a big brother. They may swallow. That is an unfounded this thing, number one. Number two, there is a lopsided development on the borders across.
Yes.
So as a result, there is a lot of trans-border crime. India is better compared to those places. So as a result, there are tensions. All these things, they take a lot of time. So there are tensions even in developed countries. You take East European countries. Yes, there is always tension in their borders.
We saw at South Korea recently, sir, where martial law was imposed. So democracy was at threat there.
Even in the America, when I talk America, not USA, the South American countries.
Yes, sir.
Between borders, there are all these things are there. There are border tension, but we are trying our level best. And Bangladesh one, you should always don't overplay it. Don't bring in the minority card there. Yes, sir. All these things you take. Maldives, you take Sri Lanka, you take Bangladesh, you take Nepal. All the tension started due to one important development in all these countries, one commonality. Can you guess?
China? China.
It happened during a regime change.
Regime change, yes, sir.
Very important. You see, I wanted to use keyword.
Yes, sir. Regime change. Yes.
Regime change. You see, it happened when there is a regime change. Then it cools down. Maldives, same thing happened when there was a regime change. Sir. Now, something good you pointed out about Sri Lanka, that happened because of regime change again.
Regime change again. Yes, sir.
See, good can happen. Normally, bad happens. In this case, the good is happening.
Yes, sir.
See, that shows your analytical ability. It's a good point about Sri Lanka, what you said. Yes, sir, there is tension. All borders have tensions. Yes. There is nothing called a peaceful border. Probably that exists only in the European Union, in the Schengen countries.
Schengen countries, yes.
That you can also add humor by saying, sir, that is also only for visa purposes. One can travel.
Okay, sir.
You see, the moment, as I said, it is a dialogue. The UPSC carries out in 40 minutes. It is not a quiz question.
Yes,
they are not checking your knowledge. They already checked.
Yes.
Preliminary and mains, they have checked your knowledge.
Yes, sir.
And they have your mark sheets, which you got in your school final to this thing. What they are trying to find out, whether this guy can fit into the civil service, whether he can survive with his personality. So this is the test. Talk to them confidently, and you have lot of plus points in knowing so many subjects. Law is very important. They are going to ask you because there are very few law qualified people who have come into the civil service. I mean, who studied only law and I mean, people in addition to the subjects they may study law and all, but you are specialized in law. So there could be on constitution, corporate law, some of the landmark judgments on corporate law.
Yes, sir.
They could, and go through the origin of the Uruguay round, UNCTAD and GATT and the latest on the international tariff trade policies, because this fellow has really stirred
Disrupted.
the honestness.
Yeah.
He talks off his hat, but then he's capable of doing it. That's the whole problem.
That's the problem.
That's the whole problem. Like he wants to redesignate Canada as a state, not as a country. See,
Governor of, yeah, yes, sir.
he's quite capable. So these are the things you give your own opinion. I mean, this is law, but then this is what he is doing it. So so you have to make it a meaningful dialogue.
Yes, I get it.
And suppose you think that they have asked a very straightforward textual question, you can make it attractive by bringing in your knowledge. In the sense, it may not be related to that answer, but still, you know something. You bring in your Germany. Sir, I had the opportunity to visit Germany and Singapore. This is what I noticed. Why we are lacking. There it is enforced. Bring in that point.
Okay, sir. Yes, I'll do that.
It is related to you.
Yes.
They may not ask you about your single, it is there in your draft, they may not. But then if there is an opportunity, try and insert it. You understand?
Yes, sir, I get it.
Try and insert that knowledge which you have. That could be a good talking point. Then there could be a supplementary question.
Okay, I get it.
Yes, I think I have covered. Now your turn. In case you want to ask me any further questions, you want any further clarification, you can ask me.
Sir, one question is with respect to the Donald Trump question itself. Since you asked whether his statement was a statesman-like or the other faction, how I could have answered it better, because I thought that I said that it was not statesman-like. And
No, I think, see, a civil servant should be honest enough to give his opinion.
to call a spade, basically.
There's nothing wrong. Only thing is, you can't give that honest opinion to your boss directly.
Yes.
Because especially in a meeting.
Yes.
Because UPSC is not a meeting.
Yes. I get it.
UPSC, you should be absolutely frank. Purposely, I had framed that question statesman-like because I wanted the answer not statesman-like, unstatesman-like. That is the correct answer. There's nothing, because I mean, no world leader can talk like that, you know. I mean, what is this? You are running the nation as a state. Canada has a history.
Yes, sir.
This guy is forgetting all these things, you know. You can't do that. But unfortunately, Canada is not giving any answer, if you notice.
Yes, right now it's not.
They are on a weak wicket now.
Yes, sir. They themselves are in turmoil. Their finance minister
Politically, economically, they are all the way they treated India, you know. Yes, how badly they governed their country, how badly they manage international relations.
Yes, sir.
So that is you give a free and frank. They appreciate that. They appreciate.
So one more question, I think two more questions I have. One is with respect to, do you think I was dragging on issues a bit and should I be more concise in my approach?
Please say that again.
So I'm saying in my answers, do you think that I was dragging on the issue or my answers for a bit too long and I should be
No,
more
no, no, no.
concise?
Surprisingly, you were short in some answers. Fine. I thought you may elaborate, but it's okay because try and expect the next question. Don't carry too long because that could be a cropper for you. The next question could be
Yes,
a
sir.
plum question for which you are prepared and you can
Yes.
do well. So expect the next. That's fine. Unless they ask, okay, further, they may ask. In case they are not satisfied with your short answer. But then
Yes.
the optimum you talked, I would put it like that. That's fine. Optimum is fine. Yeah.
All right. Sir, one last question that I have is like to how should I be going ahead with my preparation now? Since you mentioned a lot of points to me, what should I be like? For example, DAF is something that I'll prepare thoroughly on, and secondly, also the law because it's my background, so I'll have to prepare majorly on that. Apart from that, how should I be? Should I be going for mock interviews, like offline mock interviews, or like how should I be? Can you just tell me that?
You see, the mock interviews does help because there's not one interview. There are going to be three or four interviewers and different questions, and they will come from different angles. You see,
Yes.
mine is a bit, what shall I say, constructed way I asked all these questions, but they will not. At random, they will ask.
The last.
Then it is better to see three or more faces
Yes,
during the
sir.
interview. It will give you time to relax if you get into any tension because if one interviewer is asking tough questions, I'm sure the next interviewer will not ask tough questions.
I get it.
But they will look at you in a different angle to find out your personality. Then about what dress you're going to wear.
Sir, a suit, a navy colored suit.
Okay. And the tie,
Sir, it's blue colored, which I wore for my
plain,
CAPF.
plain color or with stripes or design?
Sir, some stripes on it.
Okay. Not too much of designs and all.
No, no.
Okay.
I wore the same type on my CAPF interview. I'll wear the same set of
Okay.
clothes there.
And will you keep the beard when you
No,
go?
no, sir. No. It will be all
Yeah,
clean
they're very
shaven.
important.
Yes.
It is not that it is going to give you a revolutionary look, but then a civil servant has got a mold.
Yes, sir. I get it. And I need to fit that mold. That's it.
Very, very, very important. I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
for fashion, one can keep to impress your girlfriend, one can keep, that is all fine. But then,
Yes.
yeah, as far as the UPSC's board is
Yes, sir.
concerned, they have a
They have a
typecast,
picture. Yes.
the
I get
dress,
it.
the way you comb your hair, the way
Yes,
you.
sir.
Okay. Another thing is, you have been smiling at the beginning or end. Throw some more smiles while
Okay.
talking.
Okay. Okay, sir.
You see, otherwise, what it becomes a bit stereotyped. It'll
Yes.
become a monologue. Throw a smile, fine.
Yes, sir.
Of course, in person, you better smile at people when you give the
Yes, sir.
when you give the answer. And
Yes, sir.
there is no harm in adding a little bit of humor if it is very appropriate.
Yes.
Otherwise,
Yes.
normally we don't crack a joke in the
Yes, sir.
interview board, but there is like sir, the Singapore law is not only enforced, it is so rigorous. People are so scared of getting beaten up. Then they will laugh.
Yes. I
Yeah.
get it. Yeah. It should
Then
not be forced, but it can be natural. That's what you're telling. Yeah.
you see, like that, where it is possible, then
Appropriate.
you should also bring the board down from the retention.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Don't
sir.
make them tense in asking questions. Let them also relax, which they
Relax.
do. Which they do. It all, as I said, it is a meaningful dialogue, and you should come out as a conversationalist.
Yes, that is it.
That is what they expect. Feel at ease, comfortable. They are not going to execute you. They
I'm
want
happy to tell you that I think I'm more excited about the whole like 3 phases. I'm most excited about this because I'll gain something in that room. I feel like I'll when I come out, I'll be a different person. I feel so
is
that is something. Yes, I am looking forward to. I am really looking forward to my interview day.
yes, because you see, it is a day to be celebrated.
Yes, sir.
Appearing before the board for the higher civil services, meeting all those people with
Yes, sir.
so much of experience, having done so much work
In
in
their lives.
areas of governance, and they are talking to you at their
Yes, sir.
level. They are
Yes,
trying
sir.
to find out and draw lessons from you that what has been your experience, how enriched you are, and they are listening to
Yes, sir.
you. See, that is, you see, many people take it as a routine. No, it is not a job interview. And it is
Yes.
not a quiz program. The moment you say, okay, I'm going to engage with them in a dialogue, then the game is different. You are playing it nicely. I want you to play it nicely. Okay, you have it on the 15th in between. I don't know about your mock interview program, whether you're going to have it with this academy, this thing. But even if we don't meet, if there is any doubt, any this thing, you can always contact me. You
Thank you
can
so
put
much,
my
sir. That means a
number.
lot.
If
Yes, sir.
suppose there are some tricky questions, this is my answer, whether it is okay. Okay.
Okay, sir. I'll definitely seek help if there's required. Thank you so much, sir, for
Okay.
sparing time.
Wish you all the
Yes,
best.
sir.
You have a good chance.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.